Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Caregiver and Spoonie podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Banderas. And before we get started, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes of the podcast. And also, thank you for all your feedback, your support, your emails. I really like to hear from you guys because thanks to you guys, the podcast is growing. We're having more listeners, we're having more supporters on the pages and on the community. So I really appreciate that. So let's get into today's episode, shall we? Now, on today's episode, I want to talk about how sometimes it feels like we're fighting for an inch. Like sometimes when you're a spoonie, you might feel like every day you have to fight for an inch just to be alive or enjoy your life. You know what I'm saying. Now, one of the things that I want to do real quick is that I want to read this. It's from the movie Any Given Sunday. It's part of the speech from Al Pacino when he tries to motivate the team, and it kind of like when you're a spoonie, kind of you have to feel some kind of motivation sometimes. And it goes like this. It says, "We are in hell right now. Believe me, and we can stay here and get the shit kicked out of us, or we can fight our way back into the light. We can climb out of hell 1 inch at a time." Now, when you're a spoonie, pretty much that's how it feels like every day. Like every day you wake up, you have to fight for that inch because you're gonna run out of spoons, you're gonna run out of energy. You have to literally like fight every day, which is the reason why I wanted to do this episode because I see it with my wife, I see it with other people that I know that are also spoonies. So I know, and it happened to me when I had my before I was diagnosed with sleep apnea. I was tired all the time, and I have talked about this because my body was hurting so much. So I felt like I had to fight for an inch every single day. Like it was so hard. So I know what it feels like to wake up in pain and being tired all the time. I was lucky enough that for me it was just lack of oxygen, which obviously can be bad as well. But I now that I have my CPAP machine, like I have mentioned before as well, like it has helped me. But I'm not a lot of people like probably some of the listeners and some like or people like my wife don't have that don't have that luxury, and they have to keep fighting, like every day. But one of the things that I want to mention too is that unfortunately, and this is from my perspective because of what happened with me. Okay, um, nobody can fight for you. They can fight with you, but not for you. So that's why you have to fight for that inch every day. Like you fight for that inch, 1 inch at a time, and then obviously it keeps getting bigger. You keep gaining momentum, and hopefully, depending on what you're suffering, you can get the right help, either for mental health issues or physical issues, and hopefully you can get a good doctor too. But like I was saying, like unfortunately nobody can fight for you. They can only fight with you. So you have to keep fighting because once you start fighting and people see that, what's happening in certain situations is that the people that see you fight, they're gonna fight with you. They're gonna be like, oh, he or she has the fight in them, so I can actually either help them or learn from them. That's how I see it, at least with my wife. Like I'm always learning something new from my wife. Like she might be tired, like she might be like exhausted, but yet she does things that I tell her not to do, like clean the house. Like she cleans the house when I'm asleep because she doesn't want me to do it. Maybe because I don't do it right. I don't do it the way that she wants to. I don't know. I have to ask her. Every time I ask her, she just stays quiet. So it could be that, but at the same time, it's like she shouldn't be doing it because she's gonna be in pain. So she's fighting for that inch while I'm sleeping. But she knows that I will help her as well. Now, the other thing is that your support group, which is something that we have talked about, they can cheer you on and tell you what you're doing wrong. That's very important because when you're fighting every day, like you're fighting pretty much for that inch, and you're supporting, you have a good support group where you have to let them know or what you have to understand sometimes is that you can tell them, hey, if you see that I'm doing good, I'm not doing it because I want to be praised or anything like that, but you can cheer me on. There's nothing wrong with that, because at least I want to know that I'm doing something wrong. I mean, I'm doing something right. And same thing when you're doing something wrong, like you can tell them, like, hey, if you see me doing something wrong, you can tell me. But at the same time, as the Spoonies, if you decide to get that type of feedback, you have to understand that you have to be open to learn what you're doing wrong. Like if somebody calls you out and say like, hey, you're doing this wrong because of this and this and this, and they're not doing it because they want to make you feel bad, they want you to improve, then don't take it personal, just learn from that. And this is something that me and my wife had, we were having a lot of issues with, because she thought when I was doing something like that, she thought I was attacking her. But then we came to the understanding that I wasn't attacking her. I was just making sure that she was doing better, because I like to see the progress on her, and she does the same thing with me. Like she's helping me in a lot of things so I can improve myself, and I like to learn now. So that's pretty much what you're gonna have to do at one point, or you might have to do at one point, is that pretty much to understand that learning what you're doing wrong is actually gonna help you get better. Like like some of the things that I have talked about, like how sometimes food might make you feel bloated, or cause inflammation, or do all these things, and a lot of people say like, oh, but I just don't want to leave, or I just don't want to stop eating the things that I like. It's like, okay, I'm just telling you what could be wrong for you. It's up to you if you wanna do it or not. Like you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it or anything like that. I'm just telling you. But people get offended, especially with food. Like I will get offended too when people would say like, "Oh, you need to stop eating sugar," and I'm like, I love sugar. I love it. So it is hard when you have to fight for that inch every day, every day. Like I know what it is. I know how it feels. I see it with my wife. I see it all the time with her. Like it happened to me, and I know a lot of people. But the other thing is like one of the things, like I just mentioned as well. Like you have to be open to learn. You have to be open to learn, because when you're open to learn, you're gonna find new ways to pretty much keep fighting. Like you might find a new doctor that's gonna teach you something. That you might find some kind of information in regards to your condition that is actually gonna help you fight even more, because what's gonna happen is that you're gonna have the knowledge now. And when you have the knowledge, pretty much you're gonna be able to fight even your doctors, pretty much, because sometimes doctors, they don't want to listen, they don't want to understand. So that's pretty much what's gonna help you. But what you need to understand as well is that you have to keep fighting for that inch. Don't stop fighting every day. If you feel tired, obviously you have to take your time. If you can only do it 1 inch at a time, hey, progress is progress, and it doesn't matter how small it is. That's the way that I see it. That's one of the things that I tell my wife, like, hey, progress is progress. So if you have to fight for 1 inch at a time, and you keep getting better and better and better every day, it could be through knowledge, it could be to doing something that helps your body, or new medicines, whatever you need to do to feel better, just do it. But keep fighting. That's one of the things that I want to tell you right now, especially with everything that's going on right now. I mean, it's hard to keep that fighting spirit, because unfortunately there's not a lot of good news around TV or even in social media. Like everybody's fighting whatever, so it kind of gets hard in certain situations. Like sometimes it kind of gets like tiring, because it's like I'm just fighting, but I don't know why I'm fighting. But remember, you're fighting for yourself. You're fighting for that inch, so you can actually take care of yourself. You can take care of your family. You can spend more time with your family. That's the main. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this, because remember, you have to keep fighting. It is something that you might see hard right now, but at the same time, once you get used to it and you see your progress, or somebody tells you that you're doing good, then you're gonna be able to actually keep fighting, and understand that even though you're taking little steps, those steps are accumulating into something bigger. and and that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about today. This was a quick episode that I wanted to do, which is kind of like something to for you to understand that no matter what happens, you can keep fighting 1 inch at a time. And it's hard for if it's hard for you to find motivation, remember, like, find your why, find something that makes you say that, you know what, I have to keep fighting, and keep fighting for that inch. It could be your family, it could be your son, it could be your spouse, it could be something, it could be a cause, so and in this situation, once again, thank you for all your support, thank you for your feedback, thank you for your time, thank you for the new listeners, the new supporters. Thank you for everything. You guys are making the podcast grow, which is something that I really, really like. And if you want to follow us, don't forget to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. And if you want to share your story, don't forget to send it to me at the Caregiver and Spoonie@gmail.com, and you can do it anonymously. And don't forget to share, like, and subscribe so we can make this grow even more, so people like that are suffering like us right now, or that we're suffering, can actually share their story, so we can learn from each other and we can support each other. And I leave you like always. As always, take care of yourself. Have a good day.